You gotta be smart about what you say and who you say it to, you know? You gotta just avoid, certain people.
Okay.
Probably sees over 1,000 pounds of heroin.
Wow.
And it wasn't uncommon 3-4 years ago where we would only seize maybe 100 pounds in a year. So you can see the dramatic increase, and that's due to the usage patterns, where individuals were addicted to prescription drugs. Those have been they're not as readily available, and they're more expensive. So people are transitioning from prescription drugs, opioids, to heroin, to tar heroin and powdered heroin.
On this final stage, as we track the hard drugs from Mexico to LA, we're again on our own, without LA impact. Which is actually much easier than expected, because if there's one thing that the City of Angels is known for, it's drug use. This is my I'm not a cop shirt. We started near a hangout known as an area for drug users in East LA, where I literally just found a random guy to talk to about drugs on the streets. Where are you from?
I'm from Kansas City. I'm homeless.
You're homeless. For how long?
Just over 2 years. I could only blame myself.
Yeah.
I had to take responsibility for it in every circumstance because it was no one's fault but my own.
What is it like living on these streets?
I see a lot of craziness.
A lot of drug addicts?
Oh, there's a lot of drug addicts.
What's the drug of choice these days?
For most people?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think the worst epidemic we have in America is crystal meth.
Yeah.
It's extremely cheap. Extremely cheap.
Like $5 a pop, $10?
Well, I mean, yeah, $5 is about, well, I mean, even if someone has $2 or $3, someone will give them a little bit at least,
Yeah.
So it takes literally nothing to get that high.
What about heroin?
Yeah, that's also a drug that's used a lot by people, and especially on the streets. We could go over to like this homeless encampment, and we could walk by and see if there's anything laying around. You gotta be smart about what you say and who you say it to. You gotta just avoid certain people.
He went to talk to some people under the bridge and came back a few minutes later.
It's heroin. I had to buy some to get it, but it's fine. This is heroin.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Black tar.
Yeah, black tar heroin, correct. But there's different ways to consume it. You can put it on foil, and
Right.
They get a straw or what have you in their mouth. They light it from underneath, and then it's what they call it chasing the dragon, because it'll run and you chase the smoke. They use something like this for a cooker.
Okay.
Okay, so then what they'll do is,
We going down here?
they'll take, say, a needle like this. They'll draw some water. And what is this, like 30 units? Okay. So let's see. They'll take the, and they'll like kind of mix it around. Yeah, they'll start. They'll get it to where it's hot. I think it's cool. The same people that made I think it was that, not aspirin, or like ibuprofen, Tylenol, one of them, Bayer. What does Bayer make?
Bayer aspirin.
So they created, they're the ones that created heroin.
Not quite. Bayer, which still exists today, sold heroin. They didn't create it, but you get his point.
Take like a cigarette filter, or usually or a cotton or a Q-tip or something like that. They'll break it off, they'll put it in here, and because they want to filter out all the cut.
Right.
So. And there you go. There's 30-some units of heroin.
that's $10?
That was $10. And for the people that are addicted, they'll be sick, and this will get them well. They call it well.
But it won't get them high.
Not the first $10 that they spend that morning or that day or whatever. It'll just get them to where they don't feel dope sick.
Got it. It's important to note that not all drug users are addicts. And it's also important to note that drug use or addiction can affect anyone, even the cops that are fighting to keep the drugs off the streets, like LA Impact Detective Fernando Mata.
Heroin was a cycle, but now we are flooded with it. And I'm pretty familiar with that because that's what my daughter's choice of drug is. She's been in 19 treatment programs. She started with pharmaceutical pills.
What was the hardest thing for you?
She attempted suicide a couple of times, knowing that at that point she had given up on herself. But what is the solution? It's so hard because it costs so much money.
Detective Mata's daughter is part of the norm. 80% of heroin users started off with prescription pills, and traditional rehabs only have a 5 to 10% long-term success rate. To find out more, I headed to the Hills Treatment Center in Laurel Canyon. Tell me about the Hills treatment programs. What modalities do you guys offer?
It is 12-step, and the reason it's 12-step is because the largest, sober community in the world is Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. And you find that once you take the drug or the drink away from the individual, you have to replace that drug or drink with people. I started shooting heroin at 16. That to me is more important than my degrees. An addict is an addict because they got the card.
Got it. So genetics.
Absolutely. I would say 90% of the people that I have treated have a family member or a godparent, a grandparent that was addict or an alcoholic.
Right.
It's not it's not complicated.
You're saying it could be a combination of nature and nurture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if addiction is partially biological, doesn't that mean there should be a medication assisted part of the treatment?
I gotta say, I wish that the medical community was up to par there.
Apparently they did a study where people who are on methadone-assisted treatments have half of the death rate than those on the 12-step program or faith-based programs. What's your response?
I laugh because how do you get those statistics? Okay? So many people come up with so many statistics. That's why I don't believe in statistics. You know what I believe in? I believe in people that actually have gotten sober and turned their life around.
Have you seen recently an increase in the link between opioids and heroin addiction?
To be honest with you, the more the upper class adults, they're the ones who won't get heroin. They're the ones that will go to their doctor shopping and get Vicodin, get Narcos, get Demerol. Those are the ones that will get Oxycontin. They'll doctor shop, okay? Now, you're gonna find that the kids in their 20s, the teenagers, their 20s and their 30s are all getting heroin. I mean, why do you think, these celebrities, they just pay doctors off? Because, the doctors want to, be around a celebrity and they get, seduced and they lose their ethics and their boundaries.
How much does this place cost?
This place costs about $50,000 a month.
A month?
Yes.
So can poor people come here?
If you've got insurance.
This is the room where the patients are observed dispensing their own medication because the Hill Center isn't yet a medical module, so they can't give patients their medicine themselves.
These are the medications that we've used for your opioid withdrawal management. So this is the phenobarbital, the tizanidine, the clonidine, the Zofran, and the gabapentin, and also the Subutex.
Are these standard or specific to the hills?
Our doctor works with several different treatment centers, and you know, we all have our basic opiate protocol.
Where does the protocol come from?
The doctor and the nurse.
From each patient.
So we have standard orders, okay? So if we just say we're going to use standard opiate orders, it's going to be these medications.
So just to clarify, like this is prescribed by a standard doctor at this center and perhaps others?
Yes.
Like if a patient in Maine, for example, were to get the pills, would he get the same exact?
Probably not.
Probably not. How did you, like, if you don't mind me asking, get hooked into heroin in the first place?
I mean, I started smoking weed when I was 12 and drank like a fish. I had some very traumatic experiences, and I was doing mushrooms one night, and my friend had an OxyContin, like back in the day before they made them so you couldn't cook them down and shoot them up anymore.
Right.
And I snorted a half of it, 80 milligram, and like fell in love with it. 3 weeks later, I was doing heroin.
How did you get off of it?
I went to jail and had a 3-year prison sentence held over my head to complete drug court.
Wow. So you just went cold turkey?
Yeah.
What would you say to an addict now?
Like different things work for different people. You have to replace it with someone or something. Definitely not someone. Definitely not someone. Don't replace it with someone. Replace it with something, because your life like literally is consumed. You have to fill your life with positive things. But the fear to get sober and the fear to detox is what keeps people out there.
After having seen the drug war from both sides now, what insights do you think you've gained?
Well, I realize that we're not going to stop all the drugs that are here because the money is so big. And these individuals, these cartels that operate these organizations, operate like a business. But I know that if I'm responsible or connected to 20 or 30 pounds of methamphetamine or heroin off the street, that's a lot of people that drug never made it to.
As the trail of drugs comes to the end, we realize that drug trafficking is a never-ending game, and that our current drug policies are not perfect. There's a huge variety of players, everyone with their own way of distributing, narking, dealing, using, recovering. But the one thing that they all know is tomorrow they're gonna get up and do it all over again.